Call the meeting to order. Everyone please rise to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Burgess. Jones. Here. Meyer. Hicks. Washington.
Here.
Williams. Here.
All right, I'm asking for a motion to amend the agenda to move items 7A and 7B to 1C. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion, any questions or comments? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Burgess.
Yes.
Jones. Myers.
Yes.
Hicks. Washington.
Yes.
Williams. Yes.
All right, motion carries. So under item 1C, we have motion to approve the ordinance supporting and approving of the consenting to an application by, you guys can read his name, for a renewal of Class 8 designation for Dunkin' Donuts development pursuant to Cook County Real Estate, real property assessment classification ordinance as amended. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion second, any questions or comments? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Jones.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Hicks. Washington.
Yes.
Williams. Burgess.
Yes.
Motion carries. We move the motion to approve an ordinance supporting and approving of the consenting to an application by Winpack Portion Packaging, Inc. for a Class 8 designation for Winpack expansion development pursuant to Cook County and Will County's real property assessment classification ordinance as amended. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Myers.
Yes.
Hicks. Washington.
Yes.
Williams. Yes. Burgess.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, move to item number 2, public comment. All questions or comments must be directed to the mayor. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to comment on topics on agenda items only. Each speaker will be allowed 1 opportunity to speak.
Bernice Brown, on behalf of Sauk Citizens for Public Awareness. I'd like to address item number 6, 6B, C, and D. Just for your information, those meetings are under review by the Illinois State's Attorney General, so you might want to caution yourself when you approve those. They are open meeting act violations, so you might want to take a second look at that before you approve those minutes. They're under review. Number 5, according to your own ordinances, the senior chairperson is only supposed to be in office for 2 years. I want to know why Rose Langston is still there and who decided that she would keep her chairmanship for over 2 years. So according to your own ordinance, you're breaking your rules. She shouldn't be even representing the senior group. And also, 5E, I want to talk about the finance director. Considering the era, the environment that we're in, and what happened with the village treasurer, I want to know what safeguards are going to be playing on so we watch them go high. And our money. No offense.
All right, any other questions or comments?
That's it.
All right.
I'd like to know what's going on with taxpayers' dollars.
All right, thank you very much. I'll be having a prepared statement later, but not at this time. All right, next. All right, seeing no one else, we move to reports from officers. And we got the mayor's report. And I got my prepared statement here. As it has been widely reported, the village treasurer was arrested last week by Stanger Police Department for possession of a controlled substance. After receiving this information, I directed the village administrator to take a number of steps to ensure the safety of the village funds. First, I directed the village administrator to place the treasurer on paid leave pending further information on his arrest. Secondly, I directed that the treasurer have no access to the village hall and to change the locks on the treasurer's office. Thirdly, I asked staff to contact all financial institutions that the treasurer had signature cards and/or access to accounts with, and put a freeze on the treasurer's signatures, authority on those accounts, and access to those accounts. Fourthly, I directed village staff to do a courtesy review of village funds to determine if there had been any misappropriation of village funds by the treasurer. As of right now, we are not aware of any village funds that have been misappropriated by the treasurer. We are continuing our investigation and will let you know if we find any village funds that have been misappropriated. Staff also reviewed some of the police pension fund financial records. This review revealed possible misappropriation of pension funds by the treasurer. Upon learning this, we contacted a number of investigative agencies, including the U.S. Attorney's Office, the FDIC, the FBI, and the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. This matter is now being investigated by the FBI. As you know, the Police Pension Fund is a separate entity from the Village of Sauk Village. The pension fund has its own board members, attorneys, accountants, and financial advisors who are responsible for the safekeeping of money held by the pension fund. On January 11, 2016, the Police Pension Board held a special meeting to go over the issue the village uncovered. I want to assure the public that we are thoroughly investigating this matter and fully cooperating with the FBI. Again, no village funds have been found to be missing or misappropriated. Because this is an open and ongoing investigation, we have been instructed not to discuss this matter further. The investigative agencies will advise us what they have found and what actions will be taken. All right. With that said, I'll move to Village Clerk, Debbie Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I'd like to report that tomorrow from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Village Hall, Sauk Insurance will be here for open enrollment of the Obamacare. You have till January 15th to enroll, and you can be covered by February 1st. So they will be here at the Village Hall from 4 to 7 p.m. Walgreens is also going to be here at the same time to give free flu shots for those of you who don't have your flu shots yet. This is free. There's no insurance required. All you have to do is come in and sign it. And lastly, I'd like to, I know it's been a while since we met, but I just want to brag on all of the people that helped put Carol's Cocoa and More together. It was a phenomenal event that even overwhelmed me. I had no idea that so many people were going to participate, both as sponsors and as active participants to receive food and toys. The lines were out the door around the corner, and it was phenomenal. And as the food started rolling in, and as the donations started rolling in, our thought of going from 50 food baskets went to 60. And our thought of making sure that every kid had a toy was still fulfilled. Last year, every kid left here with a toy. This year, every kid left with a toy. As the people were checking people in at the front desk, we had enough for 60 food baskets we were prepared to pass out that night. I asked the volunteers to take names and phone numbers. The next day, I got a pledge for even more money after the event was even over. And in doing that, we were able to go out and shop and get more food and do 40 more food baskets. So we were fortunate enough, solely through the donations of businesses and residents, to do 100 food baskets this year. The very next morning, Trustee Williams and I talked, and we said we are going to step up our game. We're going to start earlier next year. We're going to double that, if not more. Because we saw how this community pulled together. And we had businesses sponsor that had never sponsored before. We had residents come in force. We had businesses tell their employees, instead of exchanging with each other, drop some food off to the Sauk Village Hall to help them put those food baskets together. The residents came through, and our usual set of volunteers, we can never run a program without. You guys were phenomenal. We came in and just got to the tables and got to the hot chocolate and got to the cookies and took the food bags and passed out the toys. And you know, this is what makes this village a community, when people step up to the plate for positive events. It was phenomenal. It will be repeated. It will be better next year, but it can't be done until we work together as a community to make things like this happen. I was encouraged by it. I can't wait till next year. And I can't thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart that it felt good to see all these kids up there getting everything from big trucks, guitars, laptops, and movies. It was absolutely phenomenal, and I got to thank you so much. And the other thing I wanted to say about the donations were the businesses that donated were from a $10 donation from an employee to up to $500 from larger businesses. But it's the heart of the community that makes things like this happen, okay? And something just left my mind that I really, really wanted to say, but I'm overwhelmed by the generosity and the great feeling that I got from having this event. So with that, I say thank you very much, and we definitely look forward to next year.
Just to add, one of the things that you forgot was not only to every child who came here get a toy, but at the end of the night, we had an abundance of toys that we were able to donate to Toys for Tots, who were having a very low, I'm not sure if anybody heard, but they had a very low giving season this year. And before the event, they were saying that they were 50% below what they normally give for Toys for Tots. So every kid that was here was able to get books, toys, and at the end of the night, we still had enough to turn over to Toys for Tots, which I think is just really phenomenal.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant to say. On top of the fact, I forgot to recognize Trustee Myers, who was really great with the kids that night. I won't say to what capacity he was really great that night. And Trustee Trustee Washington for passing out those toys and making sure that every child got the right toy. I can't tell you how much that meant to have those trustees step up to the plate. They were here the entire time, and the kids loved them. And Trustee Williams and I could not have done any of this without them and all the people that helped to put that event together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Move to Village Attorney for Michael Beck. Yes.
I don't think they're clapping for me.
Oh.
I just have a couple matters for executive session, litigation updates, and in the board packet was a summary of the Level Sports Bar charges that were brought against them by the Liquor Commission, and the outcome of that is that Level Sports Bar, they surrendered all licenses with the village and have agreed never to apply for licenses again. I don't know if anyone had any questions on that.
You said it was in the board packet?
I haven't seen
I didn't see that either. Pardon?
I have a copy of it.
No, I didn't get a copy.
It was sent over. I'll make copies of it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Anything else?
Thank you.
All right, move to Village Engineer, Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. We are in the process of closing out last year's MFT road resurfacing program. We'll be planning this year's program in the coming weeks. And we are also in the process of closing out last year's MFT road maintenance program. We have prepared the typical formwork for this year's maintenance program that I'm asking to be approved at the next regular board meeting. And that concludes my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Move to Village Administrator, Director of Public Safety, Mr. Thurman.
Mr. Mayor, Board of Trustees, let me start my report by saying that before I came to Sauk Village or accepted the position, I did extensive research on this matter that I'm about to address. And the reason for that research was to make sure that we could do something with reference to increasing the value of homes in this community. So I'll start like our uniform crime reporting status. Mr. Reed, Paxton and I figured that we went on what they call neighborhood vibe, and we found out numbers that we did not believe before I started working. And to compare that to Robbins, to Harvey, to Markham, to Chicago Heights, all these different, and Sauk Village had extremely high crime rates, and we did not see that based on our research in other areas where things might have been reported, like the news media, etc. So my report is going to start with a review of, I have a review of the crime statistics that I had Mr. Kowalski come in, because our strategy was to try to put an arm around the police department to get a professional in operating that department. And we have that. So one of his first targets was what I'm about to talk about. A review of Sauk Village crime from 2012 through 2014 showed that Sauk Village was among the highest crime rated communities in Illinois. That information was sourced by UCR's Uniform Crime Reporting, a report submitted to the Illinois State Police by the Village of Sauk Village Police Department during the above mentioned years. The UCR has 8 major crime categories: murder, rape, robbery, aggravated assault, theft, motor vehicle, theft, and arson. These categories have subcategories that have historically been entered into the New World Case Reporting System. Currently, they are now entered into our CAPERS case reporting system. At year end, a computer UCR report is generated for reporting purposes to the Illinois State Police, which subsequently sends it to the FBI or NIC rather. The report demonstrates Sauk Village crime information and its crime ranking in Illinois. Chief Kowalski reviewed the 2014 New World Crime Reporting System year-end report and found that it differed from the UCR report that was submitted to the ISP earlier last year. The UCR report that was sent to the ISP showed that overall crime in Sauk Village was 38% higher than what the year-end New World Crime Reporting System reported. An adjusted UCR report for 2014 was filed with Illinois State Police based on the information collected from New World Crime Reporting System in 2014. The Illinois State Police only allowed the agencies to go back 1 year to correct crime reporting statistics. Crime reporting can be influenced in several ways: by miscategorizing crime on initial entry, or by over or underreporting UCR figures that are reported to the Illinois State Police. For the first 8 months of 2015, prior to Chief Kowalski's arrival, major crime reports averaged 22.9 crimes per month. It should be noted that New World Crime Reporting System was not always operational during that period, and that reporting was tabulated at times manually. For the 4 months after Chief Kowalski's arrival, major uniform crime averaged 10 crimes per month. Total major uniform crimes for the years 2012 through 2014 not adjusted averaged per month 58.4, 53.1, and 46.2 respectively crimes per month. Total major uniform crime for years 2014 adjusted through 2015 averaged per month 28.6% and 18.6 respectively. Why is uniform crime reporting important to Sauk Village? Commerce and the public view uniform crime reporting information is factual. Opinions are formulated about the village as to its strengths and weaknesses. Community with average crime. The corrected UCR finding for 2014 and the UCR figures for 2015 should remove Sauk Village from the list of Illinois worst crime communities. The 2014 adjusted and 2015 UCR reports in Illinois State Police report will begin to demonstrate that Sauk Village is a community to live and raise a family and afford the village an opportunity to be competitive with its neighbors on a business basis. For your information, the trucking company out here, the guy that helped bring that trucking company here, used to work with Mr. Reed Paxton when he was the mayor. And we talked to him when we first got here, and that was one of the concerns that was expressed to us. And he didn't want to come back and deal with it because of what I just stated. I want to go on to the update on the Blueprint Partners Project, vacant housing, contract components. Now, I have to do Mr. Go ahead, Gary. Holcomb, a lot of credit, but continuously talking about the big problem here, but I go on. Staff has combined 4 independent vacant housing lists into one master list. Former lists vary from as high as 707 vacant houses to under 400 vacant homes. Our new master list to date shows 462 vacant homes in 2 categories. Vacant, 374 houses, vacant and occupied, 88 houses. That means that they don't have either occupancy permit nor water accounts. Staff is placing vacant stickers on identified vacant housing in accordance with the village's agreement with Cook County. The community is responding positively and is informing staff of occurrences at housing units where the stickers were placed. Some property owners who have been stickered are now establishing water accounts over the thousands of dollars at a time when they come in here and obtaining occupancy permit. When squatters are identified, the information is turned over to the Sauk Village Police Department. Chief Kowalski is doing a good job in terms of checking those out and make sure people are in the right places. The master list, which is primarily Mr. Holcomb, Mr. Reed Paxson, and Sherry Jazinski, have been working to constantly update that even when Mr. Paxson's not here. He always works from day to week. Anyway, the master list will ultimately identify vacant property that is in arrears to the village, and in time will identify other pertinent information that can be used to expedite water and other public work services, as well as identify crime patterns that relate to vacant properties. However, needed legislation has been submitted to the board to assist staff in their efforts to control related vacancy issues that have not been yet brought up for consideration, but is still under consideration. It is a staff position that this legislation should be moved forward as soon as possible. Staff is also in the process of reviewing village contracts as determining the village of receiving acceptable services from vendors, scavengers, and towing contractors top of the list. In the next several months, the Housing Commission will be in the process of removing 6 additional vacant residential houses. I want to say that thanks to Mr. Holcomb and Mr. Paxton and Chief Kowalski and Sherry Jazinski, I can't tell you the amount of money we've collected for water accounts since this has begun. It's been in the thousands of dollars. Mr. Mayor, that ends my report.
Thank you very much.
Question.
Trustee.
I'm concerned, first of all, with the statement about the errors in the crime reporting. Has that, and you stated that some of them may have been increased or decreased, something has gone on. Do you know what the real answer to that is?
The real answer I gave earlier, Trustee, and that was the crime wasn't reported right, because we went right back to the source, and the chief talked to the Illinois State Police, had to come up and help him look at what he needed to look at, and that's what we found. That's the answer.
Okay, when crime is reported for the UCR, doesn't the individual have to be qualified in order to report that accurately?
That's correct. And he also found that a couple of people that were reporting it had not kept up their training.
Okay, so then the first answer you gave me is not really the complete answer. There's more to the answer than what you just said.
Maybe I missed it, Mr. Kowalski, maybe you can answer that in more detail.
All right, Sam. Those stats come straight from the program itself. New World compiles all the information that the officers put in, and it gives you a report on UCR reporting on the 8 major crimes that are reportable to the state police and to the FBI and the Uniform Crime Report. I don't know the individuals who were reporting it before. I'm just reporting what we found.
Okay, I think it would help if we know exactly the cause of the problem before we can resolve it. And
It's already resolved. It's in black and white. You pull it off of the system, the system reports it.
So what anyone sees now from UCR is going to be accurate?
Correct.
Okay. The second part of that, and Chief, I'll address this to you, and Administrator can kick in. Were you aware that some of the houses that green stickers were placed were broken in? And I'm speaking of the last 30 to 45 days. Were broken in by some individuals, and it appears that some of the surrounding neighbors think that the green stickers are kind of targets. No one lives here, it's okay for you to break in and live here?
I was not aware of that.
Okay.
Well, I was aware of that. I heard about that. I heard that. And you know, I'm talking to the residents that come up here to talk about their water bill. We had some person living for 58 months without paying a water bill to their owner. They told me about that. At least 10 or 15 of them told me about that. But everyone that I talk to say that anybody knows whether a house is vacant, no matter where it is. This is Sauk Village resident, not me. So when we place the stickers on those houses, it's because A, we did not have an occupancy permit. We saw those signs of a person living there, and we had no water accounts. Further, I go a little bit further. We had the Cook County Clerk, Mr. Orr's office, come out here to check on some of the voting issues. And I was told by his chief, number 2 person, that they come out here and they found some vacant houses, that they thought people were in them, that they had actual flowers and that type of thing. We ran some checks on those, and those people, nobody lived there to put our house.
One final thing. A few months ago, and the trustees are going to have to correct me, I'm saying a few months ago and maybe longer, but there were questions raised about the activities at the Excellent, what used to be the Excellent Restaurant that's on 394 and Sauk Trail. And he was told that the village had no information on it, on the reconstruction or rehabbing or whatever you want to call that's going on in there. And I stopped in there a couple of weeks ago, and they completely have, well, not completely, they're refurbishing the whole inside of that restaurant. And my question is, why didn't they get the permits? When residents contract with someone to put a fence in their yard, they have to get a permit.
Yeah.
So how is someone or someone's rehabbing a whole restaurant and the village don't have any building permits or work permits for that?
Your question is, how is that happening?
Yes.
It's the same way it's happening by people moving in and out the house without coming up here and establishing water accounts. You know, I think I heard that from one trustee, and I said we're gonna have Sherry to check. If they don't come up there and tell us that they have, that they want to move in or allow somebody to move in, we have one code enforcement officer, and that's where we get our information.
Well, there's a difference in the house in this business.
So we're gonna,
Well,
There are at least 8 to 10 vehicles parked out there almost every single day. So it's not like someone's moving in or out. And if the village is losing money, in fact, if it's not issuing permits for work to be done. Hang on.
The work that's being done in there is being done by the owners of the property. So to go in there and to fix floors, to paint walls, they're working on their part, just like if you do work at your own house. It's their property. I was there when I went in there and met with Mr. P.L.A.N, the father. He was there, and they're doing the work themselves, and they have their own crew that's doing the work. So I have talked to Sherry, see if there's anything that they need to get permits for. Code enforcement is keeping an eye on that, and if there's anything that they need to get permits on, they'll make sure they contact them. But to fix up a building that they own, at that point when I was there was no need for anything.
I know residents who have done improvements to their own property and they had to get permits.
Well, we can talk about fences, there is no like that, it calls for permits. I didn't see a fence going up around that building.
But replacing the roof is not that serious.
No, if they did a roof, they probably need to get a permit, but when I was there, they were only painting and.
So you don't know exactly what they were doing?
Do you know exactly what they're doing?
I'm the mayor. You're the mayor.
I'm asking, do you know exactly what they're doing?
You should find out.
And it's one thing making acquisitions, another thing is knowing the truth and finding out.
That's why I asked the question, were permits obtained for the work that's going
I would
on?
find out.
That was a question.
Trustee, I would find out from Sherry. She went home and said
You
that.
better get permission from the mayor first.
Well, I have permission, but whatever.
Mr. Farron.
Cover up.
Mr. Fairman, you stated that the report that was given for the last 2 years, that the crime statistics were doctored or whatever it may be.
I never said doctor.
Well, they were reported correctly. So therefore, they were inflated. Okay, I'll use that word. But I've been out here almost 34 years, and in the past 2 years, I don't know the numbers because it's kind of hard for one person to know the numbers, but I do see what's going on because I can hear about things day to day. And in the past 2 years, we've had a lot of crime. And crime has been up. I don't know to what extent. Are we the #1 in the village? I mean, in the south suburbs? I don't know. But we've had more break-ins. We've had more businesses to be vandalized, and we've had more shootings in this village in the last 2 years. So to say everything is, was inflated, I still think we need to stay and do what we have to do so we can curtail this portion of it. I mean, for us to say that, it was inflated, okay, maybe it was inflated. But I do know in the past 2 years, there's things that's been going on in this village. I mean, we've had people in broad daylight to rob a business. Yep. The last time we've had robberies that sufficient, we had businesses to leave. You don't remember, you weren't here at the time, but we had 7-Eleven closed down for just that same reason, where Title Max is located. For that same reason, they were 24 hours, 7 days a week. But it's just, it's to rest and say that I still think we still need to stay on high alert. I think that we need to do whatever we need to do to protect the businesses out here and also the residents. We can't stop drive-by shootings. We can't stop home burglaries. But we have to do something we're not just looking at numbers, we're looking at people's lives, we're looking at people's businesses. We need to do something, and just to say that someone else inflated the numbers and point the finger, I'm looking at something proactive that we need to do, a task force or something, so the people out here that's committed these crimes can know that we mean business. And the trustees that have been here for the longest know back in the day that if you did something in Sauk Village, it was going to be, in other words, you didn't come out here and mess with the people in Sauk Village. What happened since then, I don't know. But we do not need to say, well, the numbers were inflated or that, it was reported wrong. Let's be proactive and try to do something to say, can we put a task force together? Can we get out there? I'll have no problem working with that, but we need to do something to let the people, the ones that are coming and committing these crimes, I mean, who takes a cash register and runs out the store with it down the street? I mean, doing broad daylight. Those things, and people just, I mean, it's that bad, you can be coming out of the store. The businesses see that, and they ask questions. I'm out there talking to the businesses, and that's the first thing they say, what are you guys going to do? We don't have the answers, but we can at least try to put something in place, and I would like to see something like that done between yourself and the police chief and whoever else may be involved, to put something out there to let the people know. I know there was a seminar or whatever, but I mean, no one wants to find out after I've been robbed, what do I do? So I'm just asking that, can we just,
I want to respond to this because, just so the residents know some of the things we have done. We had a meeting with businesses here in Sauk Village to talk about crime prevention and what to look for. We've got our police department working closely with the businesses. The police chief's going to give you some updates today on what we've done on some of the crimes. We are addressing the issues here in Sauk Village. And again, to go after someone because he reported facts, that's uncalled for. He's just reporting what the findings were and bringing the village residents up to speed. The other thing too is you talk about who robs and takes off with a cash register. Well, if you've been keeping track of the news lately, there was 4 of those that happened just over in Indiana, just within the last 2 weeks. This is something that's hit the whole entire South region. All the police departments are working together. I'm sure the chief can tell you that all chiefs, not only on the Illinois side, but also on the Indiana side, are working together to go after the criminals. So, there has been an increase in crime, not just in Sauk. When you talk about, where you have robberies and things like that, it's happening everywhere. So, what have we done? The police department is working with the businesses. They've got some other things that they're working on. They're not going to tell the residents what they're doing to try to prevent this crime. We had meetings with the businesses. We provided them material on what to do to prevent crime, what to do when you see someone suspicious. We gave them suggestions. We had a great meeting here. I personally went out and met, I went to every single business and dropped off information and talked to some of the owners that were there. So, there is things that's happening. There is work going on. And the chief, he's going to share information. But Chief, you had something you wanted to say, right?
I just want to assure Trustee Burgess that we are working on it. And you know what? Numbers are numbers. Stats are the biggest forms of lies or whatever you want them to say. Our officers are out there every day. We make plenty of arrests. I moved an officer into to help Detective Grossman. because he does a phenomenal job on the investigations. A lot of what you hear, a lot of the crimes, people aren't cooperating. We had a shooting, a young man, juvenile, got shot. We called the school, and the school knew who he was. They says, "Oh yeah, he got shot 3 months ago." You think he would help us out? No, this person is not helping us out. The individual that was shot, who was supposedly pregnant, was not pregnant. So, and now there's some changes in stories. So, the things that you're hearing aren't as egregious as you want to believe they are. Our officers are constantly out there. We're trying to boost the prime time with as many officers as we can. We have one officer who I'm proud to say through COPS grant just started the Chicago Police Academy on Monday, and within 3 months he'll be on the street on the field training officer program. So and we have an officer, as you well know, who's our K-9 officer, works with other towns. We're part of the South Suburban Major Crimes Task Force. I went to a meeting today with them, and all the police chiefs are saying the same thing. Crime is up. We should be happy. We're not Dalton. Dalton had 3 murders already this year. Knock on wood, we're not there. Do we have shootings? Yes, we do. Unfortunately, by the time we get there, they're long gone. We try to get people to help cooperate. We will be setting up an anonymous number, an anonymous email. These are things that are all in the works. So we're definitely, we're attacking it as best we can with the staff that we have. If I had a bucket of money, I'd be able to do a lot more, but I don't. So we have to be creative with what we have and how we use what we have and the sources that we utilize.
Mr. Mayor, I want to say one thing there. The purpose of reporting these numbers was not to criticize, because there are other agencies that have done the same thing, but the purpose of bringing this up was not to criticize the police. It was talking about how not reporting crime correctly affects communities. That's the bottom line. And going forward, we are talking about how to increase property values, decrease crime, that type of thing. That's the purpose of this report.
And I just wanted to reiterate, I wasn't going after the messenger, even though the mayor stated that that's what it was about. I mean, we talked about this, Mr. Fairman and Mr. Kowalski, 3 years ago when we had a TIF over there where Fairway was located. We asked them before they got their Class 8 to put and install bright, and we still don't have the lighting there. And people, if you go by there any evening, it's dimly lit. You can come out of Shark's Chicken, and there's no one that can see you come out because Advanced Auto is there, but their windows are not boarded, but they have, paper or whatever in the way where you can't see down there or see someone coming in and out. There's no cameras there, but they looted that place twice. It needs to be at least lit where the people would feel at least safe. Walgreens across the street is lit up pretty good. Over here where Tony's is at is lit up pretty good. The gas station is even lit up pretty good. Popeyes is lit up. Why was that place, and I've said this many times, what can we do as a village to go after the owners of that facade to make them light that place up? They got all the
I have to agree with you. Trustee, not to cut you off, I agree with you. Lighting is the biggest prevention. It's called SEPTEP, and it's crime prevention through environmental design. That's one of the first things that they teach you in those type of security classes. So I have to agree with you. Yeah, lighting is.
we need to go after whatever it takes. I mean, we talked to them about this, but it's still.
Trustee, we went over there and all the lights are on.
Mr. Mayor, the lights are on. You mean to tell me that's lit? Would you feel safe going over there right now as dark? You do, and you feel safe going in there. As dark, as dimly lit as it is, you don't think they should bring more lighting in there?
Trustee, I think what you have is an older development that has.
But they're making money. They're making new money.
After your complaint was that you said there was lights out.
I said the lights are and dimly lit.
I go over there all the time.
Okay, so you think that's okay?
The lights are on.
They're on.
Okay, you can put 20 watt bulbs in front of your house. I'm gonna put 60 watts or 100 watts in front of mine. Because those lights are not bright enough in that parking lot. You can see that. You see a lot of shadows there. They know where to go and how to get in and out of there. And if you feel that they should bring brighter lights, we're putting brighter lights in our own village. We're bringing brighter lights in the neighborhood. We just did a lighting contract. You know that yourself. So you're saying that they don't have to do that? We didn't have to, we had to do it, but we did do it for safety reasons. Why can't they increase, it's all a matter of changing bulbs out. We're not asking them to put new fixtures. Bring brighter lighting in there. Illuminate that place a little bit better. That's all we're asking.
Right, Mr. Mayor, one final comment. I go down Peterson Avenue. I come out here sometime and my wife's car just to go down now. That is a place that some of those trees need to come down. Let me say this much without being too critical. If we had the money, I look at the neighborhoods around here and they really need more lights. They do.
We just signed a contract.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Those lights they'll be installed pretty soon. As soon as public works get them, we're going to change them out.
I know, but you're talking about bulbs. I'm talking about the location.
Okay, but I'm just saying, I don't think, this is just my interpretation, that Fairway parking lot, that whole facade over there is not, I think it should be lit up better. Every other facade that's doing business in the village has brighter lights than that.
I agree with you. We'll see what we can do in terms of what's our ordinance.
All right, move to item beautification committee. Beautification committee, next committee meeting will be held here at the Village Hall on January 20th at 10 a.m. As a report, we do Parks and Recs Committee, Trustee Jones.
We had our committee meeting last Thursday. We're going to put together another open gym for February 20th, starting at 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be more details and more activities displayed as the weeks and as we get closer and closer to the date. And that concludes my report.
Very much. Move to Public Works, Trustee Burgess.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're still waiting on the ordinance coming from the Ordinance Review Committee for the water billing ordinance resolution that we've asked to have them look at, and so we can bring that to this board so we can be, not going to say in compliance, that we can update and upgrade certain things as far as billing is concerned for the residents. So I'm hoping that we can get that done before the end of the month. The ordinance was given to the Ordinance Review Committee about 2 months ago, and we're just waiting on it so we can move forward with that and we can have that implemented as soon as possible. Our next meeting will be tomorrow here at the village at 7 o'clock, all invited. Thank you, that is my report.
Any trustee move to Housing and Intergovernmental Committee, Trustee Tate.
The Housing Committee is currently doing some kind of some legwork actually to determine what the housing market is looking like, availability of individuals to consider purchasing homes. We had one workshop a few months ago, as you may recall, and we're planning to have another workshop where we can provide more current information as to what's going on the housing project out here in South Village, and in order to get people to consider buying instead of just renting. And we demonstrated at the last workshop that it's quite possible that those people who are renting can actually purchase a home for less than what they're paying in rent. So there are things that are available out there. We just need to get the information out to the individuals, for the individuals to take an interest and say, what do we need to do to become homeowners? For intergovernmental, we've been meeting with, or having cursory talks with some of our surrounding communities about things to do. We'll be having a meeting later on this month. We have some good ideas for intergovernmental on how to reach out and how to better serve the residents of Sauk Village. And it's not just the senior population or the children in Sauk Village, but kind of the middle-aged group, people who work, people who may not be employed, but who are home and who need to get from point A to point B, people who need things to do. It would be wonderful and this is pie in the sky, and I hope I win the lotto to help out. One of our neighbor communities serves over 300 meals to their residents every week. And I wish we could do that. We have individuals that could use a hot lunch or hot breakfast, and if we could provide that type of thing, it would be wonderful. In the event I don't win the lotto, I think we're gonna work on some other areas and see can we get some donations or get some businesses that are possible make donations to come in and cook for the individuals who may need some assistance. So that's a lot of legwork. And we don't have a full complement of volunteers who work on either the housing or the intergovernmental committees. So we're working with limited staff personnel. But we're going to just keep at it and hopefully get something accomplished, and hopefully something more positive can be provided to you next month. That's all I have.
Mr. Mayor, I want to add to that also the appeal process for P.L.A.N. Township. That's everyone that's here for your appeal for your taxes is going on right now as we speak at P.L.A.N. Township located on Halter Street. If anyone doesn't know where it's at, I can give you the exact, well, it's right across the street from Prairie State College on Halter Street. They're going through the process now. I would suggest that you go to P.L.A.N. Township. If you go into appeal, they get all the paperwork for you, then you go down to Markham Courthouse. So I would suggest that you go there and let them know that's what you want to do. They'll get you the paperwork, they'll get you to the appeal, and then you present that now at Markham Courthouse. But that's going on right as we speak. So if anyone is thinking about appealing their taxes, and right now this is our period. This is P.L.A.N. Township's period that we have right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Can I just add one thing to that? If you decide to appeal, and I experienced this the last time we went through this, we had representatives from not only P.L.A.N. Township, for Cook County also. When they give you your paperwork over at P.L.A.N. Township, make sure you make a copy of it before you turn it in Markham. Do not give Markham your only copy. Make a copy for yourself and turn a copy into Markham. We had one instance where the individual didn't believe that and they turned in their only copy. So I just advise you that ahead of time, make a copy of it, keep it, and then go and turn in your copy to Markham and go through the process. That's all I have.
Thank you, Trustee. Move to the Public Safety Ordinance Review Committee, Trustee Myers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one item tonight. There will be a meeting this Thursday for the ordinance review at 7 p.m. here at the Village Hall. That's all I have, sir.
You've got multiple ordinances on the next agenda, which you follow for the village.
Everything has been turned in at the present time that was outstanding.
All right. And I know we've already started looking at the next agenda, and there's multiple ordinances. All right. Move to Neighborhood Watch, Trustee Washington.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say that Neighborhood Watch is very, very busy at this time. The Block Club Captains, we have a lot going on in the village. I want to say that I am very excited to report that we had a very successful seminar with the businesses. 2/3 of the businesses in Sauk Village participated, along with the churches, the leaders in the churches, and 100% of the school districts. Superintendents sent representation to participate. We had coffee and donuts and good dialogue, and I want to thank the Chief Kowalski. I want to thank Mayor Hanks and the village clerk for coming, and also, of course, Mayor Trustee Myers, along with myself, that co-chair Neighborhood Watch along with me, were able to pass out a packet for the business owners and the churches and schools to take to disseminate to the people that work with them and that serve with them in their different committees. And I have a very bad sore throat cold, so I apologize for that. But nevertheless, they were so thankful because we did this on the heels of 3 robberies in the village. We went around and we talked to everyone and to all the businesses, and those that could not come, they called. All I would was going on. They constantly text me, apologizing that they had no one to watch the store. A manager was not there, someone. So we did commit to do it again, to have a second meeting in the month of May with the businesses and all the pastors of the churches and the school superintendents or board members could come and could attend. It was very well received, and I just thank all of those that have to make that possible on that day. Also, I want to say that we have begun our live rehearsals every Saturday at the community center, and I'm very excited with the level of enthusiasm throughout the community. We passed out hundreds of flyers to people that want to participate. We have signed a guest celebrity that's going to be in the play, and Sauk Village has a lot of talent, and our first rehearsal was very, very good. And we'll be meeting every Saturday from 11 to 1. So if you want to be in the play, or you know someone that want to be in the play, we have a lot of scenes and a lot of surprises. Finally, I want to just say that, you know, Neighborhood Watch have a campaign that's Light Up the Community, Light Up the Neighborhood campaign. And when you all were talking about the lights in the store, parking lot for Fairway, I did talk to Mr. Duncan myself, and we looked at the lights. Some of the lights are dim, some are bright, and that's one thing the Neighborhood Watch block captains do on their blocks, as well as a committee of a whole. We encourage the neighborhood to turn their lights, their front and back lights on. We've been saying this for 4 years. It's nothing new, and I'm just glad to know that neighbors are turning on their lights. As we drive through the village, we see more and more residents with their lights on in the front and the back, and it makes it very convenient for the block club captains to look at to see what's going on. I want to make a statement in regard to the green tags that's on the house that are vacant. Ever since Sherry told us about the green tags that they were going to be putting on the vacant homes, it's been easier for the block club captains to identify those homes that are vacant as well. So if you're not going to continue to do that for whatever reason, please make sure that you let me know so I can let our block captains know. Those have been very influential in us identifying people on properties where they should not be. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee. With the Budget, Finance, and Community Relations Committee, Trustee Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Excuse me. The Budget and Finance Committee was scheduled to meet the first Monday of the month, and it was canceled by me because I couldn't attend. I've been battling this for quite a while now, but I did want to do an update on the Shop at the Cop program and give some thank yous. As you may recall, the Shop at the Cop program was on December 11th, Friday. And I want to say thank you to the Sauk Village Police Association for their $900 donation, and that they added with Sergeant Salisbury for her raising $100 for the donation, and to the Community Outreach Partnership for raising over $1,000 for their donation. And I want to say a big thank you to the social worker at Strasburg School, Ms. Woodley. She was extremely influential in helping us obtain the kids' names. She also created and collected the permission slips and helped arrange 2 school volunteers to be with us for the whole day, as well as provided a school bus to get the kids from school to the Stager Kmart, back here for lunch, and then back to school on time. As I stated, we were working with the administration building, and due to some unforeseen events, they were not able to help us, but she really stepped up. She was really encouraged by the program, and she really, really helped us. So thank you goes out to her. Also, I wanted to thank our volunteers and officers. Our officers were there, and we did have volunteers at the Stager Kmart that day to help the kids. We did split the kids up into groups, so it would be easier for them while they were in the aisles to pick out their toys. So I did want to say thank you to Chief Kowalski, Sergeant Salisbury, Officer Morris, Officer White, and Officer Brown, Jackie Glaze, Carol Barnell, Village Clerk Debbie Williams, Linda Todd, and Pat Couch. Again, thank you for helping the kids while they were in the aisles, helping them, especially the younger ones, calculate how much their purchases were going to cost and trying to steer them away from maybe some bigger items that were over the amount that we were able to provide for them, or helping them kind of round up to meet the amount that we had, and also for helping the kids once we came back with the pizza and the pop and the juices and everything, and helping with cleanup So we were able to do that. A huge thank you goes out to Stager Kmart. We were able to call them ahead of time, and they were able to provide us our own checkout line with our own cashier and a manager who was there to help us with the kids through each time. They were very patient with the kids. I know that our volunteers and our officers attempted to bargain with the kids as far as how far $60 would go, but sometimes they still brought a little bit more to the register. So they were very patient with the kids and kind of picking out what they could get versus maybe what they needed to put back. And they gave us their employee discount, which allowed the kids to maybe get a little bit more as towards their purchases. So it wasn't a whole lot more, but kids were able to get maybe some candy or a couple more pairs of socks or something. And they were having really good deals that day, and they were telling the kids, the boots were buy one, get one $1. So they were sending them back to kind of help out their purchases. So they were really good to us, and we would just like to say thank you. With the donations that were raised, we were able to provide the kids with $60 gift cards for for Kmart. And they were able to come here afterwards for pizza, which was also we were able to provide. And at that time, they were able to take pictures with the officers and take pictures with the volunteers. So we were very, very, like I said before, this was a program that wasn't done for 6 years. It was a program that was presented to myself and Officer Morris by Sergeant Salisbury, who was asked to kind of oversee it by the police association. They wanted to do something, they wanted to volunteer with money, and she asked that Officer Morris and I take it over. And it was our first time for both of us doing it, and I think it was a very successful event. The kids had a great time. They're looking forward to it again for next year. And as the village clerk stated before, I know that we share volunteers. We couldn't have done it without our volunteers, as always. The Community Outreach Partnership Committee, you guys are dedicated. You guys are always wanting to help, so thank you so much for all your candy sales, your hard work, everything that you did. The village clerk and the Public Relations Committee and the Community Outreach Partnership Committee, we did a lot in a little bit of a time to help the residents of Sauk Village. For those 2 months, we put a lot of work in. So thank you for your time, thank you for your effort. And we are hoping to continue this for next year with the schools. We've already talked to the administration over at District 1 that this is not going to be something where there's another 6-year lapse. So again, thank you very much. It was a really successful event.
Thank you, Trustee. Trustee.
I had several comments that I was going to present last week, but as everyone's aware, we didn't have a meeting to do that. And one thing is that I think this board should consider getting educated on the difference between a budget and an appropriations ordinance. From what I've seen thus far, it appears the village has exceeded the appropriations portion that it previously approved. There are rules and guidelines concerning this, and I have seen nothing that says the village has complied with them, which means, in my opinion, we're possibly in violation of state law. I don't know what the penalties are. I would just hate to see anyone subjected for violating the law when education is paid off. A second thing that I noticed regarding the budget is that there was nothing for the dispatch center that I saw in the budget, but then I saw information where we've exceeded it by we spent $112,000. And I don't know how you not budget, but then you spend $112,000. That causes me some concerns. I also noticed that in the budget was $194,000 for the police pension fund, and nothing has been contributed to that. and this is like the 8th month of the year for the budget. On the other side of the coin, I had attempted to obtain copies of it, someone did for me, because I couldn't get the copies from the mayor. There's several items which we have what's called an aging report. And the aging report lists things that have not been paid. And I noticed in the category of 61 to 90 days late, we have expenses as low as $5 which are late have not been paid. I have no idea why not. We have $8 that are up to 90 days late that have not been paid. In the 91 to 120 day lateness, we have $13, $14, $23 that are late that have not been paid. 151 days or more, we have a $20 fee to the Illinois Tollway. And I'm sure the Illinois Tollway is going to add late fees to that. We have $42, $100 to Sauk Village hardware, which no longer exists. So I guess that could be a write-off. But these are amounts that are not huge amounts within themselves, and for them to linger on up to 151 plus days, I think is irresponsible for us to do business that way. Bills are made to be paid on time if we possibly can. And I know Mr. Mohan, he's not here, he likes to say, well, we didn't have the money, we didn't have the money. Well, I'm sure somewhere along the line we had $5 or $8 that we could have paid some of these bills off. And it's just improper management of our finances. And we're in a hole as it is, so we should try to get out of that hole. One final thing is that I took a look at the village revenues that were projected by the mayor's budget, and I see that we're down, as of right now, over $300,000. I have a real concern when there are no revenues coming in, or when we jacked up how much money we expect to get and we don't get it, and now we're scrambling to find it from somewhere. I just think we're going to hell in a handbasket. That concludes my comments.
Thank you, Trustee.
Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Trustee Tiggs, for your comments. As I stated, the Budget and Finance Committee did not meet this month due to my illness. We will be meeting, and we do have a schedule of things that we will be addressing. This would be our third meeting since the actual Budget and Finance Committee has been established, and we are working on the policy that was recently passed. But I will take your suggestions and your comments and bring them up at the next meeting. As the original co-chair of the meeting, I wish that we would have had these prior. Maybe you and I could have worked together to kind of to resolve these. But now that you have presented these suggestions, I will let you know that these items were on the schedule. Maybe not for our next meeting, but we will maybe move them up, especially as it relates to the budget, because as we all know as trustees, this is the month of January, and our fiscal budget year will be ending soon, so the budget should be starting. We were thinking on ways to kind of look at the old budget and the new budget, and that was on our agenda, but we can add these items to the agenda to review and look at your suggestions, and we will get back to you.
Well, just to comment, I requested these items when I was chairperson of the Finance and Budget, and the mayor didn't provide them to me. So I got it through another source. So I got those about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, actually. So I was going to bring them to your attention last Tuesday, had we met. So I'm just bringing it to you as soon as I get it.
Trustee Washington, I do have a question.
Trustee Washington.
I'm sorry, Trustee Wade. Excuse me. I do have a question because I keep getting confused. To authorize an immediate check, who has to, obviously it was a policy that the board is not consulted with that, so who would have to be the people that would be involved? How many? I think you said 2 people have to say, but how many people are involved in that process?
It depends on the amount, and it depends on the purpose, but there are 3 people that are able to, but you need to have two. And that would be, the people who are a part of that would be the mayor, the village administrator, and the committee chair. But you need to have two people that sign on for it.
So if the mayor and the village administrator thinks that that check needs to be immediately paid, and they give the consent for those two, you don't need to go to the third person, correct?
No, correct.
So therefore, the board really won't have any input if they get those two people to write off on it. In other words, if they get the okay from the mayor and the village administrator, then there's no need to go any further.
If the finance director is presented with a situation that calls for an immediate check, it has to follow under the policy. And if it's per the policy where the situation requires an immediate check, it's the finance director's responsibility to approach two of those three people to get a consensus.
Okay.
And then after that, per the policy, the finance director has to inform the board as to what was the reason, this is the amount, and then what was the reason.
Okay,
And
that's exactly what I'm saying. They have to inform the board of what the reason was.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
Because
form,
it has happened, and I'm gonna bring that up later, but it has happened that immediate checks were written that no one knew about, and I didn't find out. I'll put it this way: I won't say the board didn't know, because I don't. I didn't know anything about it, and those immediate checks were written. I was just wondering the reason for that to be an emergency, but we'll bring that up when it gets to that particular point in the agenda.
according to the policy, that information has to be attached to the next accounts payable.
Thank you.
Question. You said it depends on the amount.
Yes.
You had said it depends on the amount. What is the amount? Like up to,
Okay, so
to exceed?
the finance director was given the authority from $1 to $999.99 to be able to make a payment, as long as the payment falls within the policy. Again, that would be payment of a bill to avoid cancellation, an emergency need for a department, something like to avoid legal ramifications. Okay, then we authorize him to be able to do that. From $1,000 to $9,999.99. That's when the finance director has to get the authority to be able to make that, to get that immediate check. Again, it has to follow the guidelines of what would be considered the need for an immediate check. Anything $10,000 or above would again have to get the authority from two of the three personnel for that to be able to occur. And then those are for the immediate checks, which again was something different than what's an emergency need. We didn't put a cap in the policy for an emergency need, but that would be something, like, when we had the water situation, and that, we had to purchase all that water, or we were told we had to purchase all that water, that would be something that is an emergency. It's to the residents, it's safety related. That would be a decision that the finance director would already be working in conjunction with the finance director and the mayor, because obviously there's a village emergency. That would be, the goal would be to be able to pay whatever we needed first because of the emergency, and then inform the board. But with all these things, again, everything has to be attached to the accounts payable prior to for the next board meeting, for the next regular board meeting, to inform the board of why the situation occurred.
Thank you.
All right. Move to reports, departments, committees, and commissions. Fire chief for fire department. Sorry about that. 911 commission.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Over the past 2 weeks, fire department responded 32 calls. 5 vehicle accidents, 2 fire alarms, 15 medical assists, 3 COs, 3 gas leaks, 1 car fire, assist to another town, 1 lockout,
one smells. On the happier side, the mayor and the board of trustees, yesterday, January 11th, we received a check for $350,000, which was the process of an interest-free loan from the state fire marshal's office for the purchase of our new fire truck. I am requesting the mayor and the board of trustees to instruct finance director Mohan Rowe to issue a check to Smeel Fire Apparatus in the amount of $350,000 so we may begin the process to purchase this new truck.
So you're requesting the board give the approval, right?
Yes. The consensus.
Fire chief has asked for a consensus to be able to take the money they've received, to be able to, in order to issue a check.
I have no problem.
Fire apparatus.
Yes.
So, I'm just looking for consensus.
Yes.
Okay, so will they have enough heads? This, just so everyone knows, this will be on the next accounts payable. So please remember, when you see a check for $350,000, it's on the next accounts payable.
Did you get a consensus? Only saw.
I saw a budget.
Oh, that's.
Did you see 100%? You have to have 100% to do a consensus. We already went through this. Talk to your attorney. He sit next to you. Anytime you have a consensus, don't you require 100% of the board's approval? You do not? Then you need to check with the state law. I will do that.
Right. Right, I was going to say that shaking in the head is not a consensus. You have to actually.
For that amount? Okay. So I've got trustee Burgess said yes. Trustee Washington?
Yes.
I heard trustee Jones said yes. Trustee Hayes? Yes. Trustee Myers? Trustee Myers? Okay.
I would just note that you don't really need the consensus. In any event, since you approved this agreement a couple meetings ago, last month you approved the contract.
I can
Let's do that. So it's basically a pass-through loan. The chief got a check for $350,000 that will be deposited. The village will then pay $350,000 to pay for the truck, and it's an interest-free loan that you already approved.
And it goes back to the board. It goes back to budget and appropriations ordinance. It goes back to those items there.
I think you're asking for an consensus because I would assume that you're asking for an immediate check, right?
Correct.
Okay. And since that, yes.
Microphone, please.
Because you're asking for an immediate check, I prefer that you did ask for a consensus, in which we just talked about immediate checks, and I'm not sure that that's, with that type of item, a capital outlay item is discussed in the budget policy, but since we have a consensus, then that kind of will maybe prevent some questions next 2 weeks when it's on the accounts payable. So I'm okay with your consensus. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to, and Trustee Williams, he's not really asking for an immediate check. He's asking to have one check turned to another so he can have that check written out to. An immediate check would mean that we would be paying something out of our coffers. This is something that we got the money and they need to present that check, but the check that they got was written to Sauk Village and they have to get that check written to the vendor that's actually float. So that wouldn't be considered an immediate check. That's just.
It will be a check written from us prior to the next account payable.
It is an immediate check.
Yeah, so that's why I asked, because.
Okay, all right.
Because it will before the next account payable.
Okay.
I understand what the consensus is made, so I appreciate that.
All right, Chief. So we've got the majority of the board, so you go back and let your firefighters know that the majority of the board are in favor of you getting that fire truck.
All right,
We'll have to get the check deposited. Let's make sure we got the money in the account. So I'm sure it hasn't been deposited yet, right?
Yeah, that's the top. I hope so.
I need those two signatures like I talked to you before about.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Move to Police Department, Police Chief Kowalski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, trustees. I think I spoke quite a bit today. Police service calls in the last several weeks, we had 28 arrests, 7 of which were felonies, 21 were misdemeanors. We already spoke about the individual who was shot through the door. We had a strong robbery at the Family Dollar store, where a couple individual subjects pulled up with a truck, used pepper spray to overcome the cashier and proceeded to take the cash drawers. This looked like they've done it before. They went straight to the safe. They knew where the drawers were. They wore masks, so they wouldn't be affected by the pepper spray. Our investigators are working closely with other law enforcement agencies, but this is quite unusual. These individuals had hit here before. The vehicle they were driving was stolen, and unfortunately, again, the individual whose vehicle it was the owner is not cooperating. You know, a lot of these crimes are solved by people cooperating, as you all well know. We spoke about the juvenile who was shot. The police did a great job over working with Rick Overschool. Rick Overschool got a call of an individual who was irate over some issues with their children. The individual was arrested, and we were able to secure felony disorderly conduct charges on this person for threatening to do bodily harm to individuals at the school. Police acted in a very swift manner, arresting the individual. Our investigator did a phenomenal job getting approval by the state's attorney. Just an FYI, for the last 3 weeks, the P.L.A.N report, the police department received 1,146 service calls. We're still working with the Housing Commission. I mentioned about the officer who is now in the Chicago Police Academy. One thing that was mentioned about levels, they might have resolved their issues with their license, but there's still a criminal aspect of that which is pending. One other thing, Trustee Burgess, thank you for bringing up some of your concerns earlier. I spoke earlier today with Cook County Major Gang Crimes, and they've been helping us out quite a bit. They've been coming into our town and working with our officers too. So as many partnerships as we could form with different agencies and task forces, we will definitely take advantage of.
To the Public Works Department.
Thank you. Just a few items. Regular stuff we're doing right now. We're still continuing our streetlight program. We did have a little 2-week downtime. We had a truck down, but as of today, we have 375 new heads put up. We have roughly about 100 more to go, so we should be okay on the plan as long as the weather holds out for us here. It's definitely getting a little colder all of a sudden for us, but we'll have some up and down days here, and we'll get as many as we can get done. Day-to-day operations, we're still assisting all departments. We do all ordering for different departments. We're working within the facilities as much as we can. We do have some outside work we're trying to complete now, and also know whether it's turned on. Within the buildings, the Village Hall here, we've had a few issues with our some of our new stuff here that's at its end of its warranty life or battery life. So we've been doing a little bit of battery work, some light bulb work. We're getting ready to do a little bit of drywall touch-up, some settling stuff in the building. We do have a little bit of a leak in this room. We have a warranty company coming out to take a look at it. We have a heater issue, a boiler issue that was taken care of, and some just general stuff for maintenance we're working on at this time. Also around town, due to the weather conditions, this is our freeze-thaw time. When it freezes, we have pothole problems. Residents can call in the Village Hall, give the address of the location you find the pothole. We will address it as quickly as we can. Last week we did do 2 tons of asphalt. We did all the major locations that our drivers had found during their plowing process. Also, we've had a rash of signs knocked down in town. They're getting pulled up or they're getting run down. Mostly stop signs and the yield signs, so I'm assuming run down at the intersections maybe slid into. Instead, we started to go through all intersections, checking all our signs, make sure we're in compliance, make sure we're updating. In the last 2 weeks, we've replaced 32 signs, roughly stop sign yields, no parkings. There was some residents calling me about some of the street name signs just in a couple areas, and we replaced those, so now they can have residents or anybody come over, they know where the streets are. So we'll continue on that. We have some stop signs replaced still to finalize the mandate, and we're going to do a lot more street name signs because there are a bunch more missing. Water operations, our day-to-day operations, we still have our customer service individual who does calls. Any resident who has a water complaint, has a high bill, or any concern about their water or leak in the house, you can call the village hall, set up an appointment for service to come out, and they will take a look at your problem. And that also includes if you have a water softener, they can let you know if it's running properly or if it's offline. Also, we have assisted the water department in the shut-off list, which was at this time the north side. It took us about 2 or 3 days to go through it. We did have a lot of residents come up to pay their bills. We are currently getting ready to start our next water list, which is the south side of town. So if anybody has not paid the bill, you might want to come up before we get to your house. It will shut off. If we can't, we will find a way. Also, let's see here. We had a small problem out at Well House 3, ComEd. In the last year and a half, we've had 4 faults out at Well 3 with the power line underground. They said it needs to be 3 faults before they'll come out and replace the line. Well, we're at 4. So we're scheduled right now to have a line replacement out there, complete line replacement. We don't have any power issues when we have it because we run out the generator, and we're usually for no more than 24 hours. So they usually fix it and repair it, but we are scheduled now somewhere along the way here in the next month and having line replacement, and we shouldn't have any more faults out there. Garbage again, this is the time of year when we have snow on the streets, so a lot of the garbage is not sighted. It's pushed up when we're plowing, it's pushed up with resident shovel. When it melts, there will be garbage everywhere. We're asking all residents to please pick up around your properties, and if anybody's dumping anywhere, please call the police. Don't hesitate to have them arrested. We want to keep Sauk Village clean. At this time right now, we are not doing any hydrant replacements. It's day-to-day replacement work conditions, our snow removal, and some of the jobs we're doing, and the weather conditions that are pushing us away. So as of hopefully the next 2 weeks here, we have 3 of them set up to replace. We will dig the holes open, and we will see what it entails to do the work, as long as we have at least 20 and rising temperatures. Tree removal, same thing. We're in the conditioner. We're trying to take some trees down. We have some ice conditions that we've had the last couple snowstorms. They've taken some branches down. All residents have to do is call the village hall, let them know the address, and we will schedule a date, which will be posted on the marquee, or at least at the village hall here, and we will make a pass to the town. We did have a few trees that came down. We did remove those trees at that time. Vehicle for the village. Public Works has been for the last probably 6 years now, assisting all departments in vehicle maintenance as much as we can. Definitely behind in everything. I wouldn't say we're caught up in anything. Financially, we're on hold a little bit in some places, so we're doing what we can to keep everything running. Public Works vehicles are in rough condition, and we do have day-to-day breakdowns. We're assisting police department vehicles, trying to get them up and running, get more of those vehicles going. We're working on ESDA vehicles. And not too much of the fire department because those are pretty expensive trucks, and they won't let us touch it. And the last issue, sewer complaints. Actually, there's one more. Sewer complaints in Sauk Village. Again, I'll reiterate, this is the time of the year that most people will call in a sewer complaint due to the season and due to the growth of the tree. The tree grows more into the ground, so if you had an existing sewer problem, you're probably going to have a problem. Sauk Village currently fronts a program, or accepts a program in Sauk Village. It's called a Service Line Warranty Program. And any resident for a sewer line or water line, this should have either came in the mail or will come again this year. Again, it's just a postcard. The number here is at the village hall. You can call up and get the number. But this is a warranty program for your sewer line. If you have an older house, if you have any existing sewer problems, all it costs is, I think it's $4.95 a month, $5 a month. You can pay yearly, you can pay monthly. If you ever have a sewer problem, you make a call. They have to have somebody come out within 2 hours, and they will address your problem. And if it is just a simple problem, all you have to do is call the village hall during business hours, and they'll send staff out to check the main. And if it's after hours, you can call the police department, and they will call staff out, and we'll check the main. And if the main is okay, then it's usually an internal problem at the residence, and we will stop by the house and let them know that, and they will have to call the plumber. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Let's move
Mr.
to.
Mayor, I have sheriff.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Please
Mr.
give-
Mayor, Board of Trustees, let me say that first year the Village Hall will be closed on Monday, 1/18, January 18, 2016, Martin Luther King Day. I want to say one thing that Mayor had asked me to get a program together about Martin Luther King because all the contributions that he has made in terms of nonviolence, and we certainly will do some today. So I didn't get it done because certain participants were not available, but next year we will be getting it done. We'll try to get something done by the 18th, we can get certain people to look for. Moving forward, court call for January 2016, code that 58 tickets on the court document, 2 were found liable, 1 not guilty, and 56 were found guilty for failure to pursue crimes for double. In regards to the blueprint program, all vacant houses have been stickered. There are 89 homes that have people living, squatting in them. We will be having a meeting shortly in regards to the next phase. The plan is to have a letter that the police department will deliver to the home, giving them a certain amount of time to contact me, Sherry, and complete what they need to do so that they can legally live in their home. Failure to do so will result in tickets, and all properties that fail to comply will be turned over to the public works for water verification of water. If water cannot be turned off, they will do whatever they need to do to get the water turned off. By the way, we're finding people putting concrete and a lot of stuff down in those deep boxes. But anyway, moving forward, we roughly have had about 13 water service accounts established for the vacant list that has been compiled. There were several homes that are in the process of receiving back bills from the last reporting, reading of records, and will be receiving back bills that will be high depending on the usage plus garbage service, sewer charges, and taxes. We've had people come in and pay $2,000 down, and we work with them to get some kind of payment plan, or in some cases more. We're in the process of sending the garbage company the vacant list to stop the village from being charged for garbage service on those houses that should not be provided service. Estimated savings will be $97,083 per year. Sherry, will be providing a turn on and turn off to the garbage company on an as-needed basis. Currently, we have 483 homes. Garbage bills are $33.50 6 times a year, which equals $201 per year household. The time 435 $97. She gave me the math, I didn't read it correctly, but the total is $97. That concludes her report.
Okay, thank you very much. Finance Director, Director Maru.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. A couple items. I reported the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity 2 grant programs. Not the final interim report. Even though we are not getting any money from the state of Illinois, we are required to turn in the report every quarter. That quarter was ending 11/30/2015. Once the street lighting program completes installing the street lights, I will apply for about 35,000 grants that is going to be distributed by the state of Illinois. The third one is where both myself and the village administrator are looking at the possibilities of getting a new bank to move money around so that we will get the services we require for the dollar amount what we are putting in the bank. The last but not the least one is we are exploring the possibility of stopping the shut-off notices mail. Instead, we can incorporate those shut-off date in the original billing of water service. Thereby, we're going to save about $500 per month, approximately equals to $5,000 to $6,000 savings in the water sewer mailing for the postage what we are going to spent. That ends my report.
Thank you
I
very much.
have a question. Mohan, on your report that you have, the different accounts that you pulled that we have available cash. I see the CN account is abbreviated. In other words, there's less money. Who gave the okay to take money out of the CN account and use it? I mean, that's usually something that we have to vote on because that is a separate account. Because that's about $100,000 out of that account. And what's the plans of putting that back? Are we waiting on, what's the plans of putting that money back?
I'm waiting for tax levy money that's going to be in from starting January 30th. It will start, so of course, already the money has started coming in for the tax levy. Probably I'm expecting around February, March, and nearly about.
Who gave the approval for that money to be removed?
I think you sent an email to the board informing.
Yeah, I did send an email to the board. 3 of the trustees.
Oh, okay, because I didn't get that email. It was another one that we asked about $200,000 for something else. But
the 100,000 I have sent an email.
okay, well, they did ask about the $200,000 to be paid, and that one I do remember, but not from the CN account.
I think the 200,000, you didn't take 200,000, you only took 100,000, correct?
Okay, because when I saw, I didn't see that one, Mayor. Since I didn't see anything that stated that we're going to take 100,000 from the CN account. I saw an email that stated that we needed $200,000 paid bills, but I didn't see anything for, because that's something that has to be at least noted specifically, because that is an account that's not part of, in other words, that's a separate account, and that money was put there allocated for something else. So there should be some paperwork stating that we okay to have $100,000 taken out of that account, and that's what the auditors need. The second thing I do have, Mr. Mohan, you stated that we had an audit done, correct?
It is nearing completion. It's being wrapped up because there were some other information the auditors were looking for.
I thought it was done.
It is done, but still, the other attorneys were able to give some information, extra information to the auditors. So that has to be once again incorporated into the financials.
The auditors continue to have questions and follow-up. In fact, I met with the auditors again this afternoon, answering some questions.
So when can we expect a copy of this and their recommendations? Because last year, this is what I'm talking about, the CN account was recommended that if we transfer a fund, there should be something in writing stating that we did that this particular day. So I just wanted to know when we're going to, because I thought it was done. The last meeting we had, I was under the impression that the audit was completed. Now, it's discrepancy, so I'm just wondering when you do get one, can we get a copy of that and also their recommendations that they always write every time we do an audit? So does anyone have any idea what we're talking about next month?
As of today, still I have to answer a couple of questions to the auditors. I'm going to answer them by tomorrow morning. When I answer them, I should be able to know when exactly it's going to be finally wrapped up and give you copies of all the information.
And my last question, how much do you know right now that we owe the water and sewer fund? How much money are we in arrears?
It's approximately probably about 900,000.
900, okay.
Wow, that's
Okay, I just wanted to know, I mean, I know that we have we take money out of that periodically, but at some point in time, we have to start budgeting to pay that back. We can't say we are in the green and everything is okay if we still owe an account that kind of money. I mean, that's like your checkbook. I mean, you just because you got checks doesn't mean you have money. So I'm just, if we owe that much, we owe that much. That's what we owe, but we have to incorporate that when we do overall assessment, because that's something that is owed, even though it's part of the village. That's our enterprise, that's our money maker. We need to keep track of it, at least keep paying something back so we can try to build back that account so we can have money to purchase things in public works.
I just want to make sure I make one thing clear. We pay that money back every year, and especially the ones that's been on this board for a long time, they know that Sauk Village is always in between tax periods. We talk about this every year about the same time. We receive a large amount of money at the beginning of the year, we receive a large amount of money at the end of the year. There's always that middle of the year where we don't have revenue coming in. Sauk Village for years always had to get about a $500,000 loan, which we always had to pay back. Looking at through state statute, it allows municipalities to use the money that you have inside your water funds to borrow from. Again, we follow state statute. That money is paid back every year. So as of right now, maybe $900, but
$900,000.
$900,000, I'm sorry. But that money still gets paid back as our tax revenue comes in. So,
Do you remember last year, Mayor, when we paid that back? Because I wasn't aware. Do you remember last year when because if you're talking about, I thought that was over a period of years. I didn't think it was just 1 year. So do you remember last year when we paid all the money back to the water and sewer fund, and what month did we do that? Did we pay it all back? Because I don't remember us paying all that money back at one time. I remember that we have an ongoing deficit. That's the last time I remember, but I've never known we were supposed to pay some back, but everything always comes up. So I never know that we paid it all back. That's why I'm asking for audits and stuff so we can find out. Because I would like to know when we actually paid it all. Yes, we do pay on it, but paying it all off at one time, because that's something that we need to look at, and that's all I was asking. So we can kind of remember what it is that we still owe, and just not saying that we're okay. That's all.
Question. Mr. Mohan, I recall you saying you received an extension on the audit, and that was to December, correct? Okay, and it's a little after December, and we don't have it done yet. Are we being penalized for being delinquent?
Yes, $5 per day.
$5 per day? And that started when? 27th December. All right, thank you.
Any questions? All right, move to Sauk Village Homeland Security. We got Assistant Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Board of Trustees. Thank you. Yes, a report for 1/12/16. Over the past 2 weeks, the ESTA responded to 14 calls. The ESTA department responded to 1 fire alarm, 4 vehicle accidents, 2 smell of gas, 1 CO investigation, 3 school patrols, 1 child hit by a motorbike, 1 structure fire, and 1 unfounded car fire. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Move to Human Relations Commission and Commissioner Frank Williams.
But, can I have a clarification?
Go ahead, Trustee.
Called out on a car fire and car fire was never found.
Oh, okay.
So it was unfounded. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Human Relations Board is not filled. Some of the members have to be reassigned to, but they all agreed to come back. So we now have a course, one of them is in the audience tonight, so we would like to get with you and see if we can all be reassigned and sworn in again at your earliest convenience. That is in my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Move to Housing Commission, Commissioner Holcomb. Thank you, Commissioner. Move to Senior Committee, Chairperson Rose Langston.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Senior Committee's Sauk Village Open Activity is now every Friday with Frank Williams and Steve Shimkus coordinating the event. We have a variety of games available, however, seniors may bring their own game if desired. Many village seniors are addicted to the Rummy Cup game. It has created quite a challenge for the senior, and there is plenty of room for more challengers. An open house for the Sauk Village seniors will be held on Friday, January 29th. That's for the open activity. Beverly Starrett continues with the silver sneaker classes. on every Tuesday, 10 o'clock to 11:15, and she welcomes more participants. The ceramics group is open for all seniors, and they meet from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Wednesday. However, they're not meeting tomorrow due to the weather. Our paperback book exchange program continues to thrive with many participants. We again thank you, Nancy Baker, for a continuous donation. The monthly movie co-sponsored with McConaughey Library is held on the second Monday at the library. Blood pressure screening precedes the movie. Light refreshments are served, compliments of the library. The Bloom Township Senior Community Luncheon is tomorrow, December 13th at Glenwood Golf Club. The theme is dresses and suits, dancing in the new year. Advance tickets are required. The door opens at 11:30 a.m. Tickets for the I'm Getting Fat Tuesday event on Tuesday, February 9th will be sold at the luncheon. For appointments or additional information of Bloom, call 708-754-9400, extension 244. Senior Wheels provide affordable transportation within the township and a few medical facilities out of township. You can call 708-754-8200 a day or two to make arrangements. The senior exemption or freeze application for 2015 must be completed in order to receive your exemption later this year. Seniors who turn 65 years of age last year may secure application from the Bloom Township Assessor's Office. The Golden Agers at Jones Memorial Community Center will meet Wednesday, January 20th, social hour 10 o'clock, 10:30 meeting, lunch at 11:30. Their annual dues are $5. Cost for lunch is $5. Reservations call 708-757-5395. Leisure Timers will not be meeting this month. The Sunshiners will be nominating and holding election for 2016 officers at their next meeting, February 1st. Sauk Village Bluegrass continues to meet every Sunday from 6 to 10 p.m. The next committee meeting will be on Thursday, January 14th at 7 p.m. Thank you. This ends my report.
Thank you. Move to item number 6, consent agenda. Is there anything that trustees would like to remove or any exceptions?
I have a question.
Trustee?
It's my understanding that for something to be on the consent agenda, you need 100% or unanimous approval for it?
Trustee, the way the consent agenda works is prior to bringing it up for a vote, the mayor asks if there's anything that you have that you'd like to have removed off the consent agenda. And if no one responds, then we go for a vote.
So it's your interpretation that it's on there whether or not anyone objects to it?
If no one objects to it, then it remains on there.
Okay, I wasn't asked about putting it on there, so how can it, I don't understand. Please explain. You said it remains on there. I was never asked to quickly put it on there in the first place.
I'm asking if you want anything removed.
How about the whole agenda?
There you go.
All right, we'll move to consent agenda, items A, B, C, and D. We'll move down to item 7, and we will make it E, F, G, H. All right, with that said, we'll move to item number 7. How it works, trustee? Item number 7, we move to item C, motion to approve regular board meeting minutes for October 27, 2015. Is there a motion to approve? Got a motion, is there a second? Got a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Question, you said October what?
27.
Oh, 27, I said 15. I didn't get a copy of October 27th. I'm sorry, I didn't get a copy of, okay, you said 27th. I didn't get a copy of October 20th. And the, yeah, I have no problem. I did get a copy of October 27th.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, Village Clerk, please call roll.
Tate?
No.
Washington?
Yes.
Williams? Yes. Burgess?
On October 27th, yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Myers?
Have to abstain to that, wasn't
All right, motion carries. And with item number D, motion to approve accounts payable and disbursements from December 8th, 2015 to January 12th, 2016. Is there, according to Sauk Village policy, is there a motion to approve? Got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Question.
Trustee.
First of all, I'd like to find out from Mr. Fairman or yourself, Mayor, when was Mr. Fairman actually hired? What was his date of hire?
Do you remember?
May 1st.
Okay. The reason I'm asking that, because I just wanted to find out, I have the bills and the bills from my law firm that March, that the lawyers had conversation with J.W. Fairman. And I'm just looking at, there's 3 different times that they had conversation. One was on March 23rd, another one was on March 24th, and then there was a final one on March 30th. And if he wasn't hired and we didn't even talk about that, why were our lawyers in contact with this person, with Mr. Fairman, if we didn't even know who he was in March? And if I did remember that we put something on in April to have that position established. And right after that, then we got Mr. Fairman the same meeting. But back in March, there wasn't even anything to even put a village administrator in place. There was no ordinance or anything like that. And why did we pay to have him talking with our lawyers? Because one of them was with prepare with the mayor and J.W. Fairman for a special board meeting. Another one was to prepare with a regular board meeting with Mr. Fairman. And then another one was just, and we paid for this, for Mr. Fairman to have, to draft his employment contract. So if those things were done in March, and I'm just wondering, is that, I mean, this is in here black and white. Who authorized that? Was that yourself, Mr. Mayor? Who authorized to even talk to this person that we didn't even know existed at that time?
Trustee, can I take a look at the bill?
Sure.
You're going through the,
I have them marked. Yeah, they're marked. There's three different times. I think it's the second page and then the 4th page, something like that. And they're asterisks by each one. I'm not questioning the lawyers because the lawyers don't do anything unless they're instructed to. So they wouldn't even know about this unless they were instructed by someone else. So it's not the lawyers. I want to know who gave that authority to even talk to Mr. Fairman if we didn't even have a position available, and that's what I'm asking. Because someone had to give that authority to our lawyers to do that. And I'm just wondering who gave the authority to our lawyers to talk to a person that wasn't even employed in the village at the time.
it goes back to March 20th, March 24th.
And March 30th.
March 30th. All I can say is the title accurately reflects, what I did in the work.
So you did talk to him at that time?
Sure.
Was it under the instruction of the mayor?
No, well, what clearly says I met with the mayor
So the mayor, so he gave the authority. In other words, the mayor knew about this and gave the authority to have yourself, him, and Mr. Fairman in conversation at that time. Because we didn't know anything about Mr. Fairman. We didn't even know about administrator at the end of March. It wasn't even brought up until April that we will even talk about an administrator. That was brought up in April. And the ordinance was written for that, and we voted on that ordinance. And then right after that, that position was filled with the person and everything. So
I think you have to go back through the minutes before then, and I think, as I recall, the board was making inquiries that there needed to be somebody in the
Right.
role of village administrator.
Correct.
And I'm just speculating, going back to that time, that is why I met with the mayor and Mr. Fairman. And as the entry says, it was either before or after the regular board meeting, so I believe it was right here at the village hall.
So he was actually here before we even voted on him. Okay. All right, that's just one question. As far as the accounts payable, we have things that are listed in the accounts payable that are not accounts payable as I asked before. If it's immediate checks, it should not be part of accounts payable because accounts payable means that we're going to pay. If it's an immediate check, we've already paid, so therefore why should we have to vote on something that was already issued and paid for by a consensus or whoever gave that authority to do that? And there's a few items in here that were done that way, but now they fall under the accounts payable. And if we're gonna vote on accounts payable, then I think we need to have those items removed because they were already voted on. They were already taken care of. And then also, and there's quite a few in here, and I think it's on the third page for the compensation, and then for the locksmith and things like that. I just wanted to, if those are already been paid for, Mr. Mayor, and
He's not listening to you.
if those are already been paid, why are they on accounts payable? And there's a few things that we need to address. And I was wondering, I wouldn't have a problem with paying payroll and compensation, but I do have a problem with paying or adding the things that are already been paid. And then also there's Mr. Mohan, there's some things in here that you wrote in pen. And I don't understand that. If you added to something, then it should have been added correctly. And let's go over some of the things that I talked about. First thing, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Mohan, is the credit cards. The uniform allowance, is that part of the police chief's salary? The uniform allowance. So what is that, a perk? I didn't know the uniform cost that much. I'm sorry, I'll wait for this. Oh, so everyone's uniform costs that much?
Oh, wow.
Okay. Also, on page, this says page 1. I guess this is the beginning of the accounts payable. First communication, 911. And then which line is that? Is that 960 for the 911 or is it 5100?
It is 125,702.
You said what now?
125,702 is the telephone line item.
Oh, because you have 510988 and then 96078.
Yes, we have 5,109.88. No, that is 620. The 125,702. That comes down to 620. That's why I added separately 960.78.
Oh, so that's what I'm asking. Is it 96078? Is that what the 911? Okay, that's what I was asking. You said one something. Okay, so that was a late bill coming in or?
Late bill.
Okay. And also, what's the reason that we're so far behind in the water billing if we get money from them each month? We're paying, we're back in October paying the water, I'm sorry, not water bill, garbage bill. We're back in October paying them. We got money from them every 2 months. So that should be only a 2 month deficit. That's, if we're getting money, this is January, so we should be paying at least November. This is, but it's really December 8th, I think that's what, no, December 1st
Right.
to December 31st.
November.
2 months, October would be 2 months.
November is paid in January. December will be paid.
So we've been holding these checks ever since November.
When we collect November money, it will go to that different account called waste management account. From there, we will pay back the recycling somewhere in the month of January. We will spend the wait period of a month or so. I don't really look right away. For example, December payment, what we collect will not be transferred until after January.
Correct. Right, I know they're one behind.
When I schedule the payment, it will not be in January, normally it will be in February.
Okay.
There will be a month delay. I don't pay right away because of reconciliation. I have to reconcile all about 1,000 accounts, whatever it is, just to make sure what I'm paying is accurate. That's why it takes a little bit longer time to do recycling.
Okay, on page 2, vendor number 2811, U.S. Legal Support, video conference. We had a video conference here, or?
No, at the attorney's office, I guess.
Oh, okay. That was from the attorney's office? Okay, so that's what okay. Go down to the part where it says petty cash neighborhood watch 6553.
We are reimbursing the meeting cost to trustees in Washington.
But the trustees don't have a budget.
They collected approximately about $960 and change. They expended a little bit over in order to conduct this meeting. So I had to reimburse about $65 more than the budgeted for.
Also, this is not a, because you have it under a vendor payout, so this is a reimbursement. And it should say refund there because it looks like just a vendor payout and it's an invoice for that.
It is.
I'm just saying it should be labeled as, because we do have refunds that we give to people.
It is not a refund, it is a reimbursement.
I don't know that. Also, on page 9, another write-in. Excuse me.
Trustees.
No, you talked to me. You said something about something stupid. That's
Come on,
all
we're doing adults, guys. Come on.
right. Okay.
Keep on going. You know, Trustee Burgess has the floor.
Under the motor fuel tax, the $100,000,
I'll answer the question. Originally, there was a bill for $373,614. Out of $373,614, we were able to pay $198,000 somewhere in the month of November.
so you reduced it because we didn't have the money.
We didn't have the money.
So that's why you reduced it.
We paid only $198,000.
Okay.
Since because we have enough money, not enough money, we were able to get about $140,000 from state of Illinois towards MFTA allocation. We decided to pay $100,000 to Gallagher Corporation. And
Okay.
still, we owe them approximately another.
So you did this after this publication went out, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so this is what you just, okay, because I was just wondering why that, why it was that way, but I see now that, I guess you was anticipating when you actually printed this up, but at the last minute, you didn't get it, but you got less than what you thought, and so that's why you pinned it in. Okay.
That's part of that $3 billion that the governor signed off on. Was it $3 billion or something? He signed off on for MFT and
Yeah, we're not gonna get any,
lottery,
we won't get
and all that kind of stuff.
block grant money next year either, right?
What's that?
We won't get any CDBG money next year either.
That's kind of like,
So, okay, those are the things I wanted to find out. I just want to clarify and to find out, because I did have questions and, it's been a month since we had a meeting, so I just wanted to make sure that, that is done so we can have it on record. Thank you.
I have a question.
Trustees, I'm sorry. The Madam Clerk was able to pull up the ordinance back on March 24th of last year, is when the board reinstated the position of village administrator. So it was right at the time when you guys passed that ordinance on that.
Okay, but if we passed the ordinance on the March 24th, how did you know who that person was going to be on March 24th? I mean, if we said, okay, we're going to reinstate that particular position, you would think that you're going to go out and look for it. Obviously, you had someone there ready to fill that position without even vetting anyone else. And I was just wondering why why our lawyers were talking to someone that we didn't even know who that person was. When we talked about bringing that ordinance and creating that position. Yes, I remember that. But I didn't know that position, we actually paid our lawyers to talk to this person prior to naming this person our village administrator. That's what I was saying.
Trustee Tate.
I'm looking at we have several page ones. Okay, the December 22nd, 2015, page 1. It says approved by majority of trustees. Whose handwriting? Is that your handwriting?
What did you say?
I'm looking at the document, page 1. And the date on it is December 22nd, 2015. And in handwriting, it says approved by majority of trustees. And I'm asking whose handwriting and who are the trustees that approved it?
Oh, that's my handwriting.
Okay.
The trustees who were able to sign up on those were Trustee Rosie Williams, Trustee Ed Myers, Trustee Linda Washington, and Mayor Campbell.
It says majority of trustees, 3 is not the majority of trustees.
This was, if I remember right, the email sent out asking to make benefit payments. If you look at all these are all benefit payments that we...
I'm not questioning what they're for. My question was simple. Whose signature was it and who approved it? Very simple. I'm not questioning what it was paid for.
I know that this was Mr. Mohawk, but this is part of the policy.
Right.
So the email, while it was much appreciated, is not necessary because as the policy states, liabilities and payroll per the policy can be paid prior to accounts payable. These items, like Blue Cross Blue Shield, will be considered liability. That's our insurance. So again, thank you for the email and thank you for this notation, but per the policy that was approved by the majority of this board, that serves these items.
These are all benefits when you talk about risk management, you talk about Blue Cross and Blue Shield. These are paying our benefits to make sure our employees have
Back to the same question.
By policy.
Very simple.
By policy.
Who approved it?
By policy, again, I'm sure you...
But just say you don't want to answer the question. It's very simple. Who approved it?
The trustees who approved about the budget policy. Those trustees, to my recollection, were myself, Trustee Washington, Trustee Myers. It went to, the mayor had to split the tie. That was 4 people out of 7 who were able to vote. It's per the policy. Those are the trustees.
That passed the policy.
That passed the policy.
The mayor is not a trustee.
No, but the mayor.
This is approved by trustees.
Mr. Mohan, how, your error in saying trustees should be condemned. However, the fact of the matter remains is that it's per the policy. Please, next time, instead of saying the majority of trustees, please use the term corporate authorities, because that entitles everyone up here who is a voting member of this board to be encompassed by that term. So yes, you made an error. How dare you? Moving on to the corporate authorities.
Then also have him to complete my email. I still don't have an email, so I didn't get notifications, since you're taking over everything.
I'm going by the policy. Policy.
I'm speaking to the mayor, and you jump right in. I'm speaking to the mayor.
All right.
Congratulations. For policy.
All right, we got a motion and a second on the floor. Village clerk, please call roll.
Mr. Mayor, I did ask about the, I asked about the items that immediate checks to be removed from this. This is what I asked. To be removed from this accounts payable because they were already done. So that's what I asked at the very beginning when I asked to have that removed because that's not part of accounts payable. And
there's a motion and a second on the floor.
and there was a motion, and I asked that we remove.
Yes, we call roll. Williams. Burgess.
Just so we're having clarification, Trustee Burgess was in the middle of talking. He was asking that those items, that he has for those items removed. The vote that we're taking right now is for the accounts payable for completion.
Correct.
Including the amount, or the immediate check, which were done per policy, voting yes.
Yes.
Burgess.
Present.
Jones.
No.
Myers.
Yes.
Tate.
No.
Washington.
Mayor votes yes. Just making sure, just in case. All right. Move to item 7E, right? All right, move to 7E, motion to approve the committee meeting minutes for October 20th, 2015. Is there a motion to approve? Yes, motion, is there a second? If you go to consent agenda, that's where we're back to.
All the items from the consent agenda have been moved, so we're now looking at the first item that would have been on the consent agenda.
So we have a motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a second. Any questions or comments?
Question.
Trustee?
As I stated, I did not receive a copy of October 20th meeting minutes.
Yeah, everybody else received a copy of October 20 because they were put in your box about 2.5 weeks ago.
I received a group of minutes that I had questions about, but October 27th is not one of them.
On October 20th.
October 20th.
And they were put in your box about 2.5 weeks ago. So I'm sorry, I will make sure you get another copy in your box.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, Village Clerk, please call roll.
Burgess.
No.
Jones. Myers. Tate.
No.
Washington.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
How you vote on something you don't have?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. Item 7F, motion to approve special meeting minutes for November 3rd, 2015. Is there a motion to approve?
Open Meetings Act.
Got a motion, is there a second? Got a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Village Clerk, please call roll.
Jones.
No.
Myers.
Yes.
Tate.
No.
Washington.
Yes.
Williams. Burgess.
No.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes. Move to 7G, motion to approve committee meeting minutes for November 3rd, 2015. Is there a motion to approve? Yeah, motion, is there a second? Yeah, motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, please call roll.
Excuse me, Myers. Tate.
No.
Washington.
Yes.
Williams. Burgess.
No.
Jones.
No.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes. Item 7H, motion to approve special meeting minutes of November 10th, 2015. Is there a motion to approve? Motion, is there a second? Yeah, motion, second. Any questions or comments?
Question.
Trustee.
I didn't get a copy of those either, November 10th.
I think they're really nice that very same day, but I'll make sure you get a copy of every one of these sets minutes tomorrow morning.
I can't vote on what I haven't read.
That's fine. I'll make sure you get a copy.
The meeting's
All right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, Village Clerk, please call roll.
No.
Washington.
Yes.
Williams. Burgess.
No.
All right. Item number 8, motion to recess into executive session with action to be taken for discussion of personnel matters, update pending litigation, collective bargaining matters, real estate and employment, and compensation if needed. Is there a motion to go into executive session? Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, motion and a second. Village Clerk, all in favor, say aye.
They all say aye, please. I didn't hear everybody.
No.
Okay. Some said aye.
Let the mayor know.
Need a motion to reconvene?
Second.
Village Clerk, please call roll.
Burgess.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Myers.
Here.
Tate. Washington. And Williams.
All right. That's for item number 10. That's for a motion to approve a settlement agreement in the matter of Barrett versus Sauk Village, case number 14 CV 9393, U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois, in the amount of $13,000. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Got a motion, is there a second? Got a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Village Clerk, please call roll.
Burgess.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Myers. Tate. Washington. Williams.
Motion carries. Go to item number 11, miscellaneous comments from the Mayor and Board of Trustees. Trustee Williams.
I did have one. I did give a copy of the budget and finance policy to Mohan, just as a refresher to put in everybody's boxes. That's all.
Thank you. Trustee Rich.
I just want to remind people, we've experienced already one outage that had about a third of the town out, and it's on a bitter cold night. We could get more because there's three separate ways power fed in this town. So people just remember, you lose power in this section of town, we do have a warming center. Call PD, they tell you where to be located. The other night, there was PD, and then it was got filled up over to take the community center, and then the fire station, because a lot of these third of the line. But those are the warming centers, and we have, the community center don't have a backup generator though, does it?
No.
So I don't know how that happens, this, but the PD does. It has a large room in there, and the fire station has a very large room. And we do have some of the Red Cross First Aid cots down there that we put up with PD. But anyway, just call PD. You don't need to be staying in a cold house when it's below zero. So, not gonna be much right. That's all I have. Thank you, sir.
Somebody formulated an article about that for the January stock cup. Thank you, because I know the village clerk put out an e-blast, but if you don't have power and the computer is not on, you may not be able to get the e-blast. So if it's in the stock talk, maybe people might be able to know.
Let's make sure that we put something in there about the steps you need to take. First of all, call ComEd.
Right.
Second of all, make sure if you have to call the police department so we're aware that the power's out. The other night, power went out for approximately 2 hours. And in fact, our whole entire area got hit.
It's just a cold, is that?
It had I think it was 2 or 3 feeders they said went out. ComEd was working on it. Right.
Did I hear you say, Trustee Myers, that you were going to work on it?
I will meet with everybody, get the information, use the article.
All right. Trustee Tate?
Just going back to budget and finance, it's confusing on when we see accounts payable and all the scratch outs and the numbers are changing. There's something to be done where the information is not tampered with or changed. so that it's a solid document. I think that would help, but when we're going through, we're adding, subtracting, we found out before that doesn't work well because we add differently for some reason. So it would help that if before he gives us a document, that it's a correct and accurate document. And that's my only suggestion for budget.
One of the things that he has mentioned before was the software, and that's part of the problem. And at this meeting, he was supposed to come to us with, because the board has asked for quotes. His problem is the software won't let him go back and do something. And I think that you and I both, and I think Trustee Jones might have asked for, well, how much is it going to cost to rectify this problem? And he was supposed to be looking into it, and at this meeting, that was one of the things we were supposed to be talking about. Unfortunately, I canceled the meeting. So again, I will readdress that, and hopefully, we'll bring it back to the board. Obviously, you can't buy anything. I don't know how much it's going to cost to get a new system, but at least we'll know if it's $5,000 or $6,000, it might be worth it to buy the system to correct the problem. But we'll address that.
I mean, that's my only concern, because I think we should know how much money it actually is, and when we're putting on two sets of figures and line outs and cross outs, there's no way to determine accuracy. Thank you.
All right. Trustee Jones.
I don't have anything.
All right. That's me. Trustee Washington, sorry about that.
Just one final reminder that Neighborhood Watch is encouraging different residents that want to be a part of the Play to meet us at the community center. We will be having rehearsal Saturday again from 11 to 1, and every Saturday from now to March. So let your neighbors and your friends all know if they want to be a part of the Play to meet me there at exactly 11 o'clock sharp. Thank you.
Trustee
Thank you. I just wanted to remind everyone, tomorrow, 7 o'clock here, Public Works Committee meeting. We have some things we need to go over, and I'm hoping that, those that can come. It is going to be kind of cool outside, but, hopefully, if we're not in here, cool, that we're in the conference room where it's warmer at. Because it's cold, and I'm sorry, but that's all I have.
Just real quick, as everyone knows, I think put on a task force, Sauk Village is working with Chicago Heights and many other communities with the closure of St. James Hospital. This last Saturday, there was a meeting over in Madison at the church over there behind Crackle Barrel.
Victory at the Sauk.
Yep. So, kind of keep an eye on that. I got an email today. We're going to have a task meeting coming up again because it appears that St. Francis has already filed their paperwork to close the hospital. So we're going to be looking at the next steps as a task force, and even though they promised to have additional meetings, they filed their paperwork on like January the 8th. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at it, it's a major again, I say at the same time, I understand change, and when they're coming, this would change, but you're looking at approximately almost, was it 3/4 of that hospital coming down over at the corner of Route 30. And again, they're tearing down the parking garage and putting up some type of other parking, and they're putting a large amount of money, about 130-some thousand, if I remember right, or 130-some million, sorry about that, over in Olympia Fields in their hospital over there, which is further away from Sauk Village. So, as a task force, we're going to continue to push, and we need to make sure we have an emergency room in Chicago Heights. That affects all our communities. We have to send an ambulance. They want to tell you it's only 4 miles, but believe me, it's a long 4 miles further. It could affect the person that's being transported. It could affect by having another ambulance on our streets. And every community is facing this. So that 4 miles in bad weather like we had the other night with snow and slush and the roads being as bad as they were, could affect if a person lives or not. So I'll try to make sure to keep everyone informed of what's going on. And that's about the only thing I have. So with that said, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.